I know I've done you wrong, little darling. I've run around with everything in town. If you'll just tell me you'll forgive me, I'll make it up if it takes 100 years. And I'll make it up if it takes
Can you tell
100
me
years.
what is the
I
difference
played this old
between
guitar for
acceptance
50 years, dear.
and tolerating?
I played in every
The reason why
honky
this
tonk
is
around.
a question
If
of
you'll
interest
just
is
say you
because
will
if you're in a
love
12
me,
step program,
and
or
I'll
if you're
make
in
it up
any
if it takes
sort of
100 years.
therapy,
And I'll make
psychoanalyst,
it up
anything like
if it
that,
takes a hundred
one of the things you
years.
hear a lot of is you have to learn to accept things. The Serenity Prayer, for instance, says, help me to accept the things I cannot change the things I can. Even in the Alcoholics Anonymous Big Book, it speaks of acceptance is the answer to all my problems. That's a paraphrase, but how do you accept something? What is the internal mechanism that clicks and forms an acceptance? I accept you as you are, or I tolerate you as you are. I accept that I have to be here, or I'm tolerating having to be here. I accept your flaws. I tolerate your character defects. You see, those two words seem to mean entirely different things. Yet, in a sentence, they tend to indicate the same outwardly manifested behavior. To tolerate something is to put up with it. You don't like it. It's bugging the shit out of you. But there's something at the other end that you want, so you tolerate the behavior. When you can no longer tolerate it, most people make a scene that ends up with might makes right, or he who shouts the loudest is the winner, or give me what I want and I will go away. All of those are coping mechanisms, actually, that you see people indicate when they're tired of tolerating something. So that means tolerating is you just putting up with it. You have angst, you don't like it, you really don't want to be there, you don't want to deal with this, but you're tolerating it. You are suppressing your outward reaction. You are suppressing your vocalizations of displeasure. You are suppressing your aggressive body language. You are tolerating something. Acceptance. I accept you as you are. I accept the fact that I have to be here today. I accept the fact that I can no longer be with this person. I accept the fact that I made bad decisions that got me here. I accept the fact, or I'm tolerating this thing. I think what acceptance has to do is being completely okay with it and being independent yourself of any effect or notice that something else has. When I accept the fact that, it means that I just take it for granted and move on. I stick a notation in my brain, in my behavior patterns to, this is like this. Ding! I accept it. I don't dwell on it. I don't think about it. I don't attach things to it. I don't get emotional over it. I accept it and go. It can be there or it cannot. Acceptance is more of an acknowledgement without any emotionalism, without any sort of extra beyond what it is. I accept the fact that you're colorblind and that's why your carpet doesn't match your drapes. Very easy. I accept the fact that I've lost my driver's license and I have to walk, which means I'm not going to be squirrely about having to not drive. I am tolerating this individual in my house right now because he's kin to me. I'm having to tolerate the noise until the landlord can do something about it. I'm going to tolerate this behavior one more time, or something like that. So as we go forward, this is something that really, really should be addressed in your discussions whenever you're talking to other people, and you want to, what's the difference between toleration and acceptance? And what I've done here is merely talk through my view on the issue. It seems to fit in some circumstances, but it might not in others. And that's the nature of inductive reasoning. Coming to understand is that we see a pattern that we draw a conclusion from, and we then apply that conclusion to all instances where the pattern appears to exist or manifest. The problem is sometimes patterns will stutter stop. Sometimes patterns of one type are being masked as patterns of another type. So it's not always good to react merely to a pattern. However, if I actually, on this case right here, toleration and acceptance are states for me to live by. It's a state of body existence, a state of either restrained agitation or, noticeable indifference. But each one of these has incredible consequences on the back end, especially when you're looking to not continue to increase that level of unspecified angst that we hear every day, that we don't really attach to anything in particular. The guy that cuts you off, somebody's rude to you, somebody farts in the elevator and it really stinks. You know what I'm saying? You've been walking around all day with a big hair poking out of your nose that just popped out there, it's waving at people. All of these things just, you just want to shout at them. But at the end of the day, you don't really remember them. You just know that you've had a lot of indignities stacked up upon you. Now, if you walk into a circumstance that you have just been tolerating, and you have this unspecified angst built up inside of you, and the last straw, I will not tolerate this shit no more, I told you that, it breaks the camel's back. So suddenly you've not only exploded because you've reached your toleration level, you have now managed to attach, more likely than not, a face, a visage, a relationship between you blowing up and not being able to tolerate it anymore and all those unspecified feelings of angst. You have artificially weighted a negative emotion into your psyche that will now be toted forever if you don't do something about it, if you're not aware of it. Whereas acceptance, you walk in and, dude, I accept the fact that you're going to stay home and not work and masturbate on the couch. However, please, when it's around 4:30 and you don't get off at 5, get up and go in your bedroom or put on your clothes or do whatever people do like that. Okay? Versus, man, I've tolerated you leaving the milk out until I can't take it no more, and now it's sour, and you just blow up. Those and the consequences that arise therefrom, from an explosion over sour milk when you've had a bad day full of angst, versus acceptance of the fact that you've got a douchebag roommate that masturbates on the couch every day because he doesn't work. The consequences that arise from those actions are the difference between acceptance and toleration. And I don't know exactly how to verbalize it. Perhaps you do. My name is Joey Sapp. I have a Doctor of Law from the University of Georgia. I've done postdoctoral work in clinical hypnotism, and I've been a clinical hypnotherapist. This is my old-time mental science medicine show. Thank you.